Hello, it is I, Brandon the Starseed. I'm here. Thought I'd do a nice video today. It's really nice outside. It feels like fall, which is nice. So I had like two topics, but they're kind of like one topic. It's weird. But it's like I came about it from two different angles, and I kind of came to like one conclusion or one realization. I apologize for any wind. I have tried to um, like prevent the wind from affecting the microphone, but the wind is coming from every direction randomly. So, yay. Okay, so first thing, the whole idea that I was working on over this whole last, okay, honestly, year, but mainly the last like 3 or 4 weeks, I've been really fixated on analyzing my problem solving skills. It's such a me thing too. Like to actually look at every time that I've encountered a problem, whether it's like a work related thing or whether it's like something involved with family or a friendship or relationship or my own mind. And then number one, identify like, is this a problem? Problem being like something that needs a solution, something that needs a different way of looking at it, or something that needs to change in order to not be a problem. It's pretty cut and dry with work stuff, right? Where it's like, okay, this is a thing, solve this, you know? And it's like, okay, cool. And it's probably in the work environment where I've been able to analyze how I problem solve in a really like, like actually with data and seeing the pattern. It's a little bit trickier with like people and with like my own mind and with just like problems that I invent that aren't even problems, because I do that a lot. That's a whole nother can of worms. But the pattern seems to be the same, so let's get to the point. Hang on. Here we go. Okay. I added flavoring to the Orange Crush. I'm regretting that. It was a bad idea. I think I added strawberry. Nope. No. Alright, we'll survive. Okay, here's the point. So, I have kind of like a creative problem solving method. And it's not really a method, I guess. But okay, so here's how I do this. First thing, I identify the problem. Like, so if it's a work related thing, it's much easier, right? Because it's like, solve this or get this data or acquire this information or whatever. Like, okay, I can identify that this is the thing, the task, right? Step two for me, this is where it gets weird, all the way to the end. What's the solution gonna look like? Like, what do they, whoever's presenting this problem to me, whether it's like a work-related thing or whether it's like whatever, the person who's presenting the problem, even if it's me, what is the solution supposed to look like? Basically, what box is the, what box is like the person or the thing that's deciding whether or not the problem is solved? Like, what boxes have they already put on the solution? What are the parameters of the solution that they're looking for, or that I'm looking for, or that are required, or whatever? Like, what are the parameters? Because I need to know where I'm going. Like, I need to understand what the solution is supposed to look like, right? This is where it gets tricky with people and relationships and all this kind of stuff, because you need like feedback and interaction and communication and honest communication and all that kind of stuff, and it gets like trickier. So there's a lot more like me assuming things and then like, nope, wrong about that, whatever. But with like, again, tangible things, I play Factorio a lot. It's a video game where like you build and design like a factory and you have to like solve problems. And it's usually problems that I've created in this game where it's like, oh, I did not design this properly and now I have to fit this other thing in, and crap, I didn't think about that, right? That's cool. I like that stuff because that shows me that, number one, I identify what the problem is. Number two, I identify the box that the solution is in, like what does the solution need to look like. Then it's fun. Then comes the fun part for me, where it's like, okay, how do I get, it's like a maze, right? We are here, solution is here, there's this, what do we do, right? And so this is where I think I'm creative, honestly. Like, I come at it from like every angle, where I'm like, okay, let's try like method A, but let's not just try method A, let's also do method B, literally at the same time, because why not? And then, just to be on the safe side, we kind of need like method C. And then I'm gonna like manually do these methods to do things and like whatever. And then, you know, often I get the solution. I get it in a weird way. Like I call it like a kind of like the MacGyver duct tape method, where I will take what I have and work with it like it's clay and figure out a way to see how to get it from like A to B to C to D all the way to like Z, right? And I will manually do a lot of this stuff. And I'm the same way with like relationships and with people and with my own like psychological problems, where I'm very overly analytical. I will admit this. I tend to get like highly involved in the analysis of like every step, right? And then, so point being though is I have creative ways of seeing things. Like I don't just see things in like one way. I see things that like this is one way, but there must be another way. Like going this way is fine, but what if you come at it from like this angle? What if you chop it this way? What if you think about looking at it from a whole nother, you know, like that's kind of how I like to do things, is like constantly twist and change the reality of how to get from point A to point whatever, right? And I've so this is now getting to the second topic of the day. I told you there were two, right? The second topic is highly related to the first topic because it was upon analysis of the first topic, my problem-solving skills, that I realized something really big that actually is a bigger deal than just the first topic, which is that, hey, I'm a creative problem solver. Cool. It comes from the fact that I'm adaptable and that, you know, I've had like a weird life, so I tend to solve problems from a creative perspective. But the number two thing, and this is where it gets weird, I realized that the best I am when I'm solving problems, like the most like in like a zen state where I'm able to just come up with solutions and be in that, like I can anticipate the next problem that's going to come before it even gets to me, like in the solving process, or I just have like this vision where I see like, okay, if I do this, it's going to do this. I just know it, you know? It only happens when I'm being myself, when I'm taking my approach, when I'm looking at something my way, when I'm not trying to be someone else. Anytime I've tried to solve a problem using like the idea of like, okay, how would blank solve this, or how would blank, like that's fine for like concepts in my mind, but like if I actually try to emulate another person's problem solving, especially with a work environment but also with relationships, if I try to be what I'm not and try to solve a problem using a different way of thinking or a different like path that's not my own, it just doesn't work. Like I'm not genuinely into it, you know? I might get the solution, but I don't care. And that lack of caring means that there might have been a funner, more creative way to get to that solution. Maybe the solution's not even the perfect solution. Maybe there's a more perfect solution that I just didn't get to because I wasn't in that state of mind where I was being myself. So I realized if that's true in my problem solving, that's probably true in a lot of other areas of my life. So I started looking and analyzing. I do this. And it turns out like a lot of areas of my life are the same way, where if I'm authentic and I'm myself and I just say what I want, not what I want, but just feel, you know, in the moment, and I just respond to things, it tends to be like the best state. When I start like thinking, okay, how would the Brandon that I'm supposed to be, right? The Brandon that other people expect me to be, how would this person respond? As soon as I get into that mind space of like trying to anticipate what people expect of me, I go all over the place. Screw that. I've decided unless people are very clear what they expect from me, I don't know how to do, like I'm not going to just anticipate it. I just can't. I drive myself crazy trying to anticipate or understand what people's expectations of me are. So if they are not clear with me, I'm not going to assume anything, and I'm just going to go into like, I'm just going to be myself. Because when I first meet people, I am myself. And it's only when I start getting to know somebody that I start thinking that they have expectations of me, or I start assuming that they have expectations of who I'm supposed to be, or how I'm supposed to respond, or whatever. And yes, I offend people sometimes. Usually just because I'm incredibly blunt, like I'm direct, I'm very to the point. I will say things and ask things that maybe people aren't used to thinking about, right? I get it, right? So if people, you know, like don't give me expectations, I just have to be myself. And even bigger, if they do give me expectations, and if that expectation of who I'm supposed to be or who they want me to be doesn't fit what I am, who I am, and I can't make it, I can't, because I'm adaptable, I can change myself a little bit here and there when I interact with people to accommodate, whatever. But if it gets to the point where it's actually going completely against my own core, like, whatever, and I can't. Like, I have to be able to be like, deal breaker, like this, I have to be at least somewhat of who I am. Like, I have to be authentic. So I think my bigger, like, overall point of all of this, and this is something that I've been doing some channel messages on too, recently, and it seems to come through from the Arturians especially always, that if I am authentic, if everyone is authentic to who they are in the moment, every moment, there would be no problems. I know it sounds silly, but think about it. It's only when people start acting outside of who they are, of being something they're not, or trying to it's my point. We all have this harmony. We all have this knowledge of like who we are as a person. And we're going to change. We're not going to be the same, right? I'm not the same now as I was years ago. I'm not going to be the same in 5 years. There's like that fluidity. But understanding that and being forgiving of that and like working with that and just being like embracing who you are, whatever weirdness you have, embracing it, like it just seems like it's better. And I think if everybody's doing that, there'll be less jealousy of people who are doing it. I think people who embrace their uniqueness, they encounter somebody who's maybe holding in their uniqueness or trying to like, be a certain thing because they think they have to, right? I think sometimes there's friction because of that. And I think if just everybody just be who you are, you might as well, right? Because if people are gonna like give you shit and hate on you for being who you're not, you might as well have just been authentic in the first place so that you feel like, whatever, if they hate me, I'm me, whatever, Kind of going in random directions. I think that's my overall point. Be authentic. Try to do things your way. Try to problem solve your way. Try to understand what your way even is and why your way is unique. Appreciate who you are, and then others will appreciate who you are, right? And then you'll appreciate other people when you appreciate yourself. Whoa, I know. Gotcha. Think about it. That's it, though. I gotta go. Peace out, peoples. Enjoy the rest of your whatever times, and I'll try to do another video before Halloween, at least, because I love doing a Halloween video. Not like a Halloween video, but just a video around Halloween. The energy always gets me like thinking, and pondering. So, all right, we're talking a lot. Bye. Enjoy your days.